Got a quick unboxing today of just a random box we received. Wolverine sent us a random box of a boot, and so we're just gonna unbox it, kind of get some initial impressions. And this is kind of the fun of this channel, is I don't have to be like super long planning things, and it's more just like, hey, what does it look like if I was just at a store and I was checking out the boots and I didn't have the ability to cut them in half? Like, what would I think? How would I look at them? What am I looking for? Initial impression, sizing, all that kind of stuff is the fun of this, but also it allows us to start accumulating a bunch of boots and shoes from various companies who are just sending us some stuff to unbox that could be eventually used on the channel. So whichever of these you like and whichever ones you want to see cut in half, support those videos, let me know, because that's partially how we decide what we put on the main channel. Half of it's what I want to do and what I'm interested in. The other half is what I think will do well with the people that watch the channel. So the more you let me know and support the videos you like, the more we'll do it. So, if you don't know who Wolverine is, they're one of the biggest boot companies in the entire world. They represent like more brands than you can imagine. So they manufacture at least their in-house brands that they, I believe they own. I think they're owners of these brands, and they still make a lot of footwear for a lot of brands that they don't own, that they just white label them or white label them. They make them for different brands. So Bates, which is like the military boots, like it's one of the top military footwear brands. Cat footwear that we've cut apart, we've cut apart. There's some good ones. They have like some non-leather boots that we did an unboxing. I was like, I don't like that. But then there's some stuff we cut apart that I liked. Harley Davidson footwear that we talked trash about. Chacos we've been positive about. Hush Puppies that we've ever done. High Test, never heard of it. Merrell, Saucony, the other ones we haven't really reviewed. And so, you know, as this huge company of Wolverine worldwide that represents so many of these brands, that takes up a good chunk of the industry. They make anything from stuff that we've been like, that's garbage, to stuff that's like, that is cool, that's like a game changer, or that's a historical boot, or that's this, just like any of these giant corporations are. They're all over the place when it comes to what they produce, because they produce things in various different brands, different price points, different utilities. And so that's why I'm interested to like see what Wolverine's making and what they sent us, just to see where that lies on the spectrum of products that we review, because this is clearly a work boot. So the men's Durashock SR Icon 6-inch work boot retails for $160. The new standard of comfort, the Comfort Durashock, now better than ever. Specs and tech: full grain leather, waterproof membrane, removable ETPU footbed, slip resistant outsole nylon shank, 30-day comfort guarantee. Okay, so that's kind of your listing information. Let's unbox it and see. What are we unboxing it with? Is it good, babe? It's the one I usually have on me that I was recording a hiking, I think it was for the Rugged African Troopers. I was recording like the exclusive content for the limited edition email list, where I just like go on hikes and talk about the breaking in and what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling, what I'm like, how I break in stuff. And I was like, right in the intro, I pulled this knife out of my pocket to like cut the laces or something, and that clip fell off and broke off. And that's the one thing I hate about this knife. I'm like, Gerber, just attach that clip better. Like the one part that you don't want to come off, that you actually bend on the knife, is the one part that's not like securely fastened to the knife. Because I think that's where I lose most of them. I think I probably bought like 10 of these in the last like 3 years, and it's because I keep losing them, and I think it's because that clip fails and I don't realize it, and it's either like falls out of my pocket slowly or just falls straight out of my pocket. One day, maybe if Gerber doesn't do it, maybe we'll make a knife that's like this, small, compact, replaceable blade that's actually like good quality, that isn't like flimsy and breaks. You never know. Well, we are making some clod wallets out of all these new leathers that we just introduced with the new kilties, the new boot pocket kits. Just because the one wallet that we have that's still made with a die is the OG wallet of Rose Anvil, named after my grandpa Claude Maurice, that taught me leatherworking all growing up. I was raised on the farm with him. He taught me everything I know about hard work, especially leatherworking. I'm literally wearing it right now with the blood core leather. You got everything from those ridiculously thick bison leathers and those SB foot leathers like the Oro Legacy, the amber harness, the copper rough and tough, all these name tags keeping them straight, mule skinner, and obviously all of our regular leathers that are our veg tan we get from Wicked and Craig. And all of them are hand sewn right here in the shop by us. There's no sewing machines. It's the old school saddle stitch way. It's the same way they make saddles that we apply to our wallets. That's why we can do a lifetime warranty, and we've only had like 3 wallets in the entire 10 years. We've only had like 2 or 3 returned. And that's because we use the highest quality leather and the highest quality techniques. So get yourself a clod wallet, some of this unique leather. Gamble gamble a little bit and get like an 1.5 inch thick wallet with some of this bison stuff if you really want. But keep it in mind, it's so ridiculously thick. So thank you guys for supporting these products. It's what started this whole business. It's what gave me the expertise and knowledge to be able to judge and design and do all the boot and shoe stuff. And it's what I'm the most passionate about, is the product design. So thank you guys for everything you do. Check them out below. Let's see what we got from Wolverine. All right. Okay, so there's that blue outsole they're talking about. That's interesting because it's really flat. And so this black on the sidewall here is lower than the blue. So the blue is making contact with the ground first. Kind of an interesting concept. Does it actually work, or is it just a gimmick? It's hard to say. You know, that's the value of cutting these in half. Is this just a different color foam, or is it different durometers? Because we can take a durometer test, but the problem is it's on the outside. When you do durometer tests on the outside, like most of the time, if a foam midsole it's going to have like a little bit of like a shell around it, where it was in the mold, and the smoothness of the mold smooth the curing foam. There's probably a better way to describe that, but I think that makes enough sense. And so it usually reads harder than the actual inside durometer of the foam. So blue, 58, 59, 60, okay, and then black, 63, 60, 66. So it might be a little bit harder, but it's still within 5 to 10 Shore, so it's not a huge difference if it is different. But it could also just be where I was like testing it. That's why like you almost have to cut them in half to test the durometers, because you can't really get a test from the outside. What else do we have? They said it was a nylon shank. Let's see how strong the shank is. So that's the problem with a nylon shank. You know, if you really need that support, you need a steel shank or a fiberglass shank. Leather-wise, looks pretty decent leather. You know, it's a nice condition leather. There's a lot of paneling going on. You know, there's a lot of intersecting panels that could potentially lead to like fail points, especially right here. I wish this panel just swept all the way up there. Is this real leather? Do a quick burn test. Do a burn test on this collar to see if it's leather. I think that's leather. Let's do a little spit check on the waterproof leather, see if it absorbs into the water, or if the water itself is like impermeable because of its waterproof plus whatever. Okay, so it does absorb into the water, so it's not like gonna bead up on top of the water right off the bat. What about these other things they mentioned in pull this out? Ooh, that's like a, what is it? Ultra Boost like insole. And you can see, if you look at like those little holes, you can see it's not just like the mold that makes it look like it's boost foam. You can see that there's individual pebbles in these little holes. So that tells me that it is probably a very similar compound to Ultra Boost, because you're gonna have the same effect. Because the cool thing about Ultra Boost is they're little pebbles of foam. And so that same thing we talked about with this outer shell being hard to read the durometer because it's harder, same concept with these actually, because you've got these little shells surrounding it that make that shell a little bit harder, which makes them rebound a little bit better. So when you compress them, it bounces back faster because it's a little bit harder, but it's really, really thin, so you still get plenty of squish. And that's why people love Ultra Boost foam. This might not be Ultra Boost, but it's the same concept, because it's little beads fused together to combine that shell like structure with the squish of a soft foam. That's pretty cool. See, that like part of this too is like I like just digging into a shoe and like, all right, what's the interesting angle here? You know, like we talk about boots and shoes like 3 times a week, and that like, you know, there's only so much difference between all the various boots on the market. And so finding new angles to tell a cool story, or check out materials, or like see if this is Ultra Boost or is it like a copycat, is it actually structured, and like comparing it to the outsole, that makes like an interesting narrative. And so that's another reason why I like doing these videos, is it's a little exploration into what the video could be if we end up doing it. Ooh, it does have an internal counter cover. It doesn't look like leather, but at least it's a dedicated internal counter cover. And it's waterproof, which is pretty rare. So that's pretty much everything we can figure out from the outside, and that's why it's so valuable to be able to actually see how they're built and what's on the inside, and truly figure out which of this stuff is just different color of foam, which of it's actually adhered, are these stitches real, or this, you know, like that's the joy and the value of cutting them in half. So if you want to see this cut, let me know, and let me know what other stuff you want us to unbox, what other brands you want us to reach out to start sending us some stuff to unbox, do some preliminary stuff like this. So if you want a pair of these, check them out below. I'll put links to all the other Wolverine, or most of the other Wolverine worldwide videos, with the Choco video, with the other Wolverine videos, with the Wolverine work boot videos, the Wolverine heritage videos, the cat videos, all that stuff. I'll put links below. And thank you guys for all your support and watching these, because it's fun for me to do, and it's how we start to get some shoes in, show you guys what we could potentially do, and allow you guys to kind of show us what you want us to cut apart. So thank you guys. See ya.